Alright, y'all, so on my last video I made yesterday, I was requested to do a video on this topic, and I decided, hey, that's a pretty good idea. Season 5 for Gekishin Squadra is officially ending. We should see the new reveals for the Season 6 characters probably this weekend. I mean, for sure in a week, Season 6 will officially be out. So sooner or later, we should see some announcement for Squadra Talk. I'm thinking, again, if it's Friday, we'll see an announcement on Thursday. If it's Saturday, we'll see it on Friday. You guys get the point. Now, looking back here at the initial Gekishin talk for, I said Gekishin talk, Squadra talk for Season 5, I feel like a lot of this season was very much hated, and I think you can make a very strong argument that this arguably has been the worst season for Squadra. Now, I hope that they do take a lot of the feedback in mind when it comes to this. I'm sure that there's going to be some survey within the next few days about like the season and things like that. I also want to say that, again, it's possible they're just looking through social media. I think Gekishin is not a really large community. I think of us like a small town of sorts where everyone's just communicating with each other. Everyone's kind of heard of another person in the community. We're like very tight knit. And I think a lot of the same opinions kind of get pushed through the general idea, at least in terms of the actual Gekishin community. I think there's like the layer of the Dragon Ball community sphere as well, like very casually playing Gekishin. But a lot of people who are actually genuinely interested in continuing to play the game at a consistent rate, you know, they are at least leaving their opinions under this post here. So again, we'll just take a look at some of the comments now. I'm going to give my opinion on some of these things first, just because I feel like doing it. It's my video. Now, the new heroes. I feel like Frieza and Kid Goku were actually generally good releases. There's an issue that's very clear with them both, and the same thing was with Bulma. But we'll get to that in a second. In terms of balance, I think Frieza, you know, he's a bit on the stronger end, but I don't think he's like by far dominating the technical sphere. He's a technical you see in every single match. I don't think that's the case. Kid Goku, I don't think that's the case either. If anything, Kid Goku isn't really even a meta pick. I think he is a good character, at least that's what I would say. But he's a very high skill ceiling kind of character where you need to really understand, you know, how he works, like utilize his dashes properly. Otherwise, he kind of is just if you don't know how to use him properly. And obviously in comparison to characters like Goku, Super Saiyan 3 Goku, even like a character like Kefla, even Super Saiyan Goku, like very straightforward but good characters. Like I think a majority of the player base just won't know how to utilize this guy effectively. But at the same time, I think that if you do, he could actually be pretty powerful. So I feel like this guy's kind of like he's fair, right? You know? Bulma is probably the worst character they've ever released. I think Abe made a post about this as well, but she is actually just insufferable to play against. And I genuinely, like, again, when I looked at her kit, you guys could literally go back to the video. I was like, she feels very like technical-esque, and she doesn't seem very tanky. And I would still say Bulma is like susceptible to CC at times. Bulma, like, if she gets caught, can, you know, get melted. But when does she get caught by a good player, like who knows how to use it properly? Almost never. Like, it is so incredibly difficult to catch Bulma, and she does whatever she wants for free. She does more damage than she should. She has an AoE stun on her ultimate, which can also transport another ally across the map. She can herself move across the map in seconds. As a tank character, she still has the additional shield. Defense step is so good on her. It's actually absurd. So that means that she nearly permanently has defense step up as a card. Because she doesn't have your traditional vanish step. She has her little gauge for the driving, which I think was really cool. But it just means that she nearly always has damage reduction up in these fights. Because it's not like you have to conserve her vanish. Like, it just very clear to me, like, again, I don't mean any like harm, but like, or I just don't know what you're thinking. Like, if you design a character like this and don't like, did you test her? Did you genuinely test this character out? Like, I have to assume there's no way you tested this character out at all. Like, I can't believe that. Like, you know, the more time goes on, the more she's just so annoying. And I'm so glad she was not allowed in the Squadra Blast, because oh my god, that would have been very funny. Now, that's my thoughts on the characters overall. The big issue with these guys, which plays into me thinking, do they test these characters? Is the fact that all three of them dropped bugged. Frieza's walls, they're still bugged. Like, in the game news, they have not stated that they fixed it. And I'm pretty sure they're still bugged. I mean, I've seen some people say, oh, you know, I feel like they're not bugged anymore, like, just from my usage. I mean, like a day ago, I used Super Saiyan 3 Goku, I beamed the Frieza wall, it doesn't do anything. I don't know. And then other times it feels like his walls just like get melted through. So I don't know. I don't know what to say. Fix this. Kid Goku came out bugged. Bulma came out bugged. Her skill 3 is also bugged. They fixed that bug for her. I think they fixed the Kid Goku bug. Frieza's bug is still in the game. We need like more playtesters or something. Like, I don't know. Like, I understand. Like, my only thought process is, again, they're putting everything into this anniversary, which should be September 10th is the first anniversary of the game. So around here, we'll see like the first anniversary stuff. Squadra Blast is like around here. So I assume we'll see some sort of hint for the first anniversary for the World Championships. But come on, man. That's crazy. Divine Draws. I feel like healing attack is very annoying with certain characters. Very annoying. I think it's a bit overtuned. Super damage boost skill 1. It's really the biggest issue here is Goku and Super Saiyan 3 Goku. But like without those two, I think it wouldn't even be that big of a deal. Like, I can't think of another character at the top of my head where it's like, oh, skill 1 damage boost. You know, these guys are just like too good. 3 and Goku. Yep. This here, we'll talk about this. I've got a few comments about this. And then this collab already made my opinion on it. I think it was bad. Like, generally, I think, in my opinion, the only thing that should have been available is the costume itself. These should be purchasable in the shop. I don't mind them doing like costumes plus emotes, like in the summons. I just think that the costumes here, like the normal base outfits, those should be purchasable. What they should do is, if they want to continue this, my recommendation would be to make the infinite skins available in the summons, but just make them really good infinite skins. And then that wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. Like, I think as long as the actual, this right here, people wanted to play as Xeno Trunks, people wanted to play as God Vegeta. But for some reason, you just can't buy them in the shop. And then they specifically tied them to, of course, the emotes. I don't know if that was like a requirement. I assume not, because the legendary intros are not tied to the outfits either. So it's like, I don't see why they had to do that. And I don't know. Obviously, this is something that they're testing, but I think this shouldn't have been something they're testing on this limited time collaboration, maybe. I don't know. But I think that also played into why people really hate the season. I don't think it's the character picks. I just think it's everything surrounding that. But that's just me. We also have YouTube comments here. We'll take a look at YouTube comments first. Just because I feel like I usually look at Twitter comments first in these videos. So let's see at YouTube here. When does the season end? I already talked about it earlier this video, but again, it should end basically in a week. You think the technical role feels in a good spot? 5 to 6 legitimate options, and the Squadra Blast streams are very fun to watch. Yeah, I mean, if we take a look at technical, I talked about this in yesterday's video, so I don't want to like too much go into depth with it. But if I said like technicals that I genuinely think are in a good spot right now, Final Form Frieza, we can take a look at 17, Ultimate Gohan, Majin Buu, of course, and then Hit and Gotenks I think are still in good spots overall. These 4, I think Buu is like in an okay, decent spot. Like niche situations, I think Buu can be good. If you know how to play as Majin Buu, I think you can cook with him. These 3 do need help though, 100%. Even Buu needs a little bit of help, but I don't think he needs as much as these 3. Krillin. Poor Krillin, man. The negatives began to outweigh the positives as the season progressed. Every new character released was bugged. Yep, Error Code 0 did return. Goku and Super Saiyan 3 Goku were dominant in the meta for too long. Character buffs and nerfs that don't do anything to change the meta. I would agree even that like the buffs were nice, but I don't think it matters if the meta characters are still meta and better than the buff characters, even if they do a good job. Like, I think it's 5.2, right? No, it's 5.3. Like, come on. What is this, man? This is just nothing. You need to do better with your patches. Like, if you're nerfing a character and then you're like very minimally changing them and you know that they are the most played characters and you know Super Saiyan 3 Goku in fact has the highest win rate by far across every single region, by the way. They have this data. You don't think that maybe he's a bit too good? Especially hearing people hate this guy. God Goku is obviously another issue. So yeah. Icarus helper buff encouraging an annoying gameplay loop. I know a lot of people like Icarus, but I think Icarus just like covers the pre-existing issue of some of these tanks just don't feel like tanks like 50% of the time. And then the tanks that do feel like tanks just have like a free out. You know, I feel like you should be punished for solo diving into a tower. And then three of the team members are jumping you. Like, you should be punished for that properly, with your life probably. And then if you somehow get out, it's like not the biggest, like, you know, it's like, oh, they let you out. Unless you're Bulma, of course, then you just will always get out just because you're a stupid character. But like, yeah, you know, and instead they should focus on buffing the actual characters themselves. Cell should get better early game HP. Cooler. I mean, I was talking about this in a VC the other day. It's like Cooler has his iframes on immune to all, but like it should be when activating the skills, right? He should get this iframe. Like these iframes should be somehow more common, I think, in his kit or last longer, because I feel like it's such a low amount of time that it lasts, but Cooler gets absolutely melted and he can't really like do tanky stuff, I think 99% of the time. Again, he's closer to like a character that will enable other characters to do good things, right? Like if we look at Cooler solely at like a tank perspective, he's not really going in and just like tanking. He's more so just like a third DPS almost, I would say, like rather than him being an actual other tank. Like Bardock, Vegeta, Bulma, even like how Zamasu plays, Caulifla, they all just feel like tank-esque. Cooler doesn't really feel like that to me. So I think it could be interesting. Like again, if his iframes, maybe like obviously not to an extreme amount, but I feel like Cooler, while he can be played good, Cooler's highs are highs. But like if we look at him like just like normal, I think that he definitely could be looking a little better. Like I wouldn't definitely say no to that at all, even for Cooler, right? But yeah, again, that's like Icarus kind of helps that in a sense, but it just like Icarus is only good when you look at the faults of the characters. Does that make sense? Like Icarus just like is a little patch, but it's not an actual resolution to the issue at hand, right? At least that's how I feel about it specifically. Sorry to take a quick pause there. But again, Divine Draw is made for obnoxious games. Battle Pass changes made it hard for free players to grind. Not nearly as bad as the 2 extra missions from the Premium Pass. Yeah, because essentially I think what the Battle Pass change that a lot of people don't like is they don't like, I feel like it was easier to grind the Battle Pass before in a sense. But the issue with the Battle Pass before is that after you completed, you know, like I'd say 70% of the missions, it became pretty useless. And I think they need to like find a middle ground where I think the only thing they need to do, give us these missions that are just there, right? Just like keep the Battle Pass how it is, except also add additional weekly missions. and then the weekly missions maybe just gold. And then it's like, okay, you play once a week, you get the missions, or even just like keep the seasonal missions, and then you just drop some of them every single week. That works as well. That way you just like mix the two, and then it benefits both sides of the player base, rather than just like, you know, the people that like this one and the people, and not the people that like the other one, you know? Again, the Xenoverse collab, yep. Bulma very toxic. Community was already lukewarm on the OGDB character, so not going to season 6. Sentiment on the game is probably as low as it's been. Hoping they address all of this during Squadra talk. I don't think they're going to address this. They're not going to address any of this. Like non-Squadra talk. They're going to talk about the new characters, the new divine draws, potentially new sub roles, if there's any new bosses, things like that. They're not going to talk about any like changes they make, most likely. I mean, hey, if they want to do that, if they are doing that, I'd be more than happy for them to do that. But I doubt it. The time before Bulma was released and Tao was not busted was refreshing for Tank. Yeah. A lot of people, again, don't like the Tao change. They at least gave hope that they would actually nerf Riku and Godku. That's good, I guess. And the bad was the nerfs. We're less than a slap on the wrist. Yeah. It's like they're listening, but they're not making effective changes. Yeah, battle pass change is really bad. Previously, you're able to complete the pass early, but now you're level 35. It's impossible unless you play every day actively doing missions. Either you enjoy the game or complete the pass. Again, like I said, more casual players do not like the new pass. I think that's perfectly valid. I feel like they should find a middle ground. The only good thing they added was Kid Goku, and he has the least played DPS as rep ever. I would say Topo's probably way least played, but yeah, after Topo, it's him. The rest of the season has been straight garbage. Some things they made it worse, like the battle pass. Yeah, again, people really don't like the battle pass. Like, so many comments. That's why I waited, because every single one of these videos, I see people talking about the battle pass that I make. It's a very consistent trend. People just don't like it. Godku, 3Ku, Bulma, Kid Buu, Frieza, yeah. It's still so hard to find DPS. You like this game because of the gameplay and IP, but if you look at it from a non-DB fan, this game is even worse than Unite League. Still play it though? Yeah, that's me. That's me too. Still play it though. Battle Pass, this change it. They want the Battle Pass changed. We'll look at this one and then we'll look at actually, we'll look at this one too, because I actually read this one earlier and I found it interesting. Then we'll look at YouTube quotes and comments. Terrible for me from start to finish, except Kid Goku. Other than that, crashes. Desync that turned my position 180 degrees. Yeah. Error code 0. Constant crashes even after you log back in. Again, talking about all these different creators and players that crash. Scroll. Yeah, Scroll is someone who plays with me on the channel, but like ICBTV crashed, Annie crashed, Ramon crashed, Lobo crashed, Scroll crashed. This season was horrible. People hate the constant bugs. Like, that's like 50% of the issues I think a lot of people have with this game is like the constant desync and bugs. It's just like, why? We could use a 2v2 one lane mode pretty bad. You're sick of getting trash teammates when you're going against top 100 players. You need a 4-stack or else you lose every game. How 3 S rank games in a row the tech tried going bottom lane when I'm tank and they're different people too. Again, this is what I want to highlight. They're just letting anyone in S rank. It's not a challenge to hit it. It's flooded with terrible players. They get back to S rank for free because rank doesn't fully reset. It just puts you back in A rank, and you can't even D rank at all. And to put everyone back down to D rank, that could help. I would say the only issue with that is obviously there's plenty of bots in E rank and C rank and D rank, you know. I think they still have to like eliminate like many bots, honestly, but it's kind of hard to do that. But even then, it wouldn't be that big of a deal because if you're someone who deserves to be an S rank, you can climb up the ranks regardless. I feel like well, that kind of depends because it's a team game, right? So you could get screwed over by your allies 100%. What I would say though is not letting you D rank, S rank at all, or just any ranks. I think at this point they changed that so that you can't D rank at all. Is really stupid. You should be able to D rank. Like, you should be eligible to D rank in this game. It should not be possible for you to just stay at S rank once you hit it. I think that's a really stupid change. Like, let people just D rank, man. Some people just suck. Like, let's be honest. Some people just aren't good enough, right? And they will just continue to throw other people matches and make them sad. That person themselves will become sad. but realistically, they'll have a better time at playing the game not in S-rank lobbies. Like, that's just the truth. That is what it is, right? So yeah. My final thoughts are the disdain for original Dragon Ball. It's not shocking, but always disgusting. It's the bedrock of the series. It gives high moments later on for those moments to exist, or the context for those moments to exist. You're glad they're added, honestly, regardless of how things shake out. I'm glad they did them both in one season. I think, again, I'm glad that OG Dragon Ball was added here, but I don't think they should have been 2 of them in one season. I feel like that's the only issue I have with it personally. But other than that, it's like, I think them adding OG Dragon Ball characters is good. I think that they should continue to add OG Dragon Ball characters, and I hope they don't specifically take this example as like, oh, people hate OG Dragon Ball, we're not going to do OG Dragon Ball again. I think that would be really bad and really stupid of them. So again, fingers crossed they don't like take that lesson from it, but that's just what I'm hoping for it. But again, let's take a look at some of the quotes here. This is the absolute worst season. Oh, hello, Annie. Every character is bugged. Bulma is an abomination. Xenoverse collab was a disaster. Yep. Not a single impactful balance patch. That's also very true. The meta stayed the same for an entire season, and that's also very true. I feel like in other metas we've seen like a lot of shifts. Not here. It's just very like straightforward, like, oh, you know, these are the meta characters, and I don't think a single change really has been made all season. And again, that issue is because of God Goku and Super Saiyan 3 Goku. Flat out, right? I think the thing about the tank and technical meta, it's not that big of a deal, because realistically, at the start of the season, we saw some like shake up to it, and then it stayed pretty consistent, but it's like, you don't see like just the single technical, the single tank. I think you see a variety of them. That's not really the same for a DPS, unfortunately. It just isn't. So that's obviously just like a big issue, is that we just need to see more variety in this stuff. But yeah, that's kind of the big issue, at least for me specifically, when it comes to this. Icarus was buffed. Yeah, I don't know. Again, Icarus buff. It's like, I don't think Icarus needed to be buffed, me personally. Not a single redeemable quality for the entire season. This has 300 likes. Lobo says, LMAO! That's valid. That's valid. That's valid. Like, again, I want to defend this season because it's OG Dragon Ball, but like, factually, the season cannot be defended. Just very silly decisions. I mean, I wonder what we see here. We never had less fun playing this game this season. Battle Pass missions changed. Again, Sabra hates that as well. Yeah, Monkey's Paw. OG Dragon Ball, but for what? Literally. Season Pass mission changes. You like you can farm more, but the missions and how they propose are horrible. Yeah, that's fair. Toshi better watch his back. Watch his back, not wash his back. Kid Goku is a great release and reasonably balanced. Yeah, that's like pretty much the only good thing. I think most people agree. Makes you worried about how Anniversary is going to be with how poor communication is between the devs. I think that's the issue. They're focused so hard on Anniversary, they just like left this season to run. At least that would be a consolation. Where it's like, oh, Anniversary is like really, really good. This season suffered for it, which shouldn't really have happened, but at least I can understand why to an extent. Good character choices, but bad implementation because of bugs. Yeah, again, we're seeing a bunch of the same ideas. Improved matchmaking. Again, everything here. Everyone has the same opinions on this. Like, literally. Things that just tap tower and use Icarus, exactly. Like, we're seeing so much of the same, like, opinions here. I don't even think I have to read anymore. Oh, this is something new. I agree. I hate this rock. This rock is really stupid. It's useful for the Xenoverse capsule now, but like that's gonna be gone, right? This rock shouldn't be here. I really like this change though. This is a good change. This changes the map. W change. L change. The rock is annoying, but it's not like the worst thing in the world. It's just kind of annoying. Character lineup is good, but the balancing meta is at its worst and most is fun. Summonable skins, you hate it. Worst patch notes. Yeah, I mean, we're literally just saying no one's talking about good parts. Everyone hates the season, man. People just do not like this season. People just don't like this season, and I don't know what to say. With proper teammates knowing how to play their characters, nerfs aren't a big deal or needed. Playing solo queue, you have no issues when players know the role. It's when players do the most weird crap. I mean, that's also true, but like, we're not gonna act like the difference between like Super Saiyan 3 Goku and like a Dabura, or like Kale even, or you know, even still like 18, like is a massive, gigantic difference that shouldn't be existing in the game. Yeah, the collab was pretty bad. Like I wouldn't even say the collab was bad in a sense. Like I feel like the skins were bad, but everything else around the collab was actually fine, right? But I mean, I think that's all I have to talk about here. There's not much to say. You know, people will address better to me, but you want to say, I love your Gekishin content and streams and what got me playing the game with my friends. It's fun. I mean, thanks for watching. You understand the game better. Hopefully season 6 is better. I agree. I think honestly, like a boss change could be really interesting. Meta changes, like they just need to shake the game up in a major way. And again, I appreciate y'all for all the support. I love this game still. I'm here with it until the end. Like they could announce EOS tomorrow and I will still be here for this game. I got y'all. But thanks y'all for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.